Hello and welcome to the Brick News, the weekly show on all things brick building where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, mocks of the week, and a few news and reading recommendations as well. Information is presented as always by setdb.org, the best source for set information on the internet. And this is where we are going to go, and we are always going through all the brands in alphabetical order. But first, today is not BlueBrixx as usual, but BAKA. And here we have a potted plant set 33804 that has now shown up in China. Around $40 you have to pay. That's only 2.8 cents a piece because this set does have 1,456 pieces. Not too shabby for a couple of potted plants, but yeah, I think it is, as far as I can tell, 6 pots. And then you have 2 desks or tables as well to put them on, or basically shelves, if you will. And yeah, it's a wide collection out of multiple plants. BAKA, keep in mind, is, I think, part of the company, it's a brand of the same company that is doing the Lumibricks. So that is the bricks that you, for instance, may know from BlueBrixx specials, as far as I can tell. And yeah, here we go. No, it's not even 6 pots, it's 7, if I am correct here, including 2 shelves. So if you want to get started with collecting these kind of plants, we will actually talk in a second also about what Lego has now to offer with the new Botanicals line, or the renamed line of botanicals. I think this could be a very cost-effective way to get a lot of plants going. Anyhow, with that, we're moving on to BlueBrixx, and here we have the Blaustein Castle Stables 108516. This is an interesting one. This is basically an update of a set that they already, I think, released last year, or a little bit more than a year ago. In 2023, they had the medieval horse stable, which was more or less the same set, 105786 back in the day, and it was a BlueBrixx special, so Kunlong pieces, digital instructions, and no paper instructions. And now the new set is basically a BlueBrixx Pro, so it's the other way around. No digital instruction available, only paper instructions. Did I say this correct? Anyhow, BlueBrixx Pro means paper, BlueBrixx Special means digital, but they also refined the design as a little bit, I would say, based on these pictures, because they have now, like, if you look at the palisade between the tower and the building, is slightly different. Next to that, it looks almost identical. It has, however, I think now 3,234 pieces. The original one had only 2,877. So roughly a difference of 400 pieces. So there must be more changes or smaller parts. I'm not really sure what all the differences are, but I guess the main difference is that this is now a BlueBrixx Pro set, so we can assume that we are talking about Xingbao pieces here, but it may also be GoBrixx. Who knows? Anyhow, it is definitely something that BlueBrixx has changed. Going forward, there is also now availability of another medieval set, the Medieval Fisher 108056, and this is also now a BlueBrixx Pro set. However, it is designed by Anton, so that is the designer who's doing nowadays most of the medieval sets by BlueBrixx. 1,321 pieces, $50, 3.8 cents a pop, a set. What is 3.8 cents a piece, I should rather say. What is interesting is that actually in the past, almost all of the BlueBrixx medieval sets were BlueBrixx specials, and it seems BlueBrixx is changing this now a little bit and is converting more sets towards Pro. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the Pro lineup because I prefer digital instructions, and for whatever reason, BlueBrixx decides per set there's only one available, either only paper or only digital, so you kind of have to decide, which is very unfortunate and a very strange strategy, I would rather say, because I think they're the only manufacturer I'm aware of that is making this decision. Like, you get, for one set you get A, and for the other set B, and there's never both. Almost never. I think 1 or 2 times they did both. Anyhow, let's move on to the Centipede 107747. I've talked about this set, I think, in the past. It's now available. 842 pieces are $30, 3.6 cents a piece. By the way, when I talk about prices here, that's always EU prices, and that includes tax. again, your mileage may vary depending where you live. With that, we're moving on to the minifigure pack, Voyage of the Astronomer, 108-006. Of course, this is the minifigure pack that is supposed to go with the Astronomer sets that they have already released. I think at this point in time they have 2 sets out there, and 2 additional I think are already announced. Yeah, here you can now buy BlueBrixx minifigures for it. I've talked about these minifigure packs in the past. Not much to add here. Just keep in mind, I don't know, BlueBrixx is saying on the website that it has 205 pieces. That's why I use this number. However, the picture shows 146. Who knows? 8 minifigures for sure, and BlueBrixx is selling these for 16 bucks. Then we have the Schlingmann TLF 3000 Varus 4x4 107800. So this is, as you can already see by the license plate and all the other numbering, this as a firefighter vehicle over here from Germany. Schlingmann, I think, is a German company that is basically, building these vehicles, I guess, in this case based on a Mercedes-Benz truck. Not 100% sure. Anyhow, 107800. This is a Technic set and is now available for 80 bucks, 4.3 cents a piece. Not too shabby, considering that there's even a license included. 1,859 pieces. Then we can make this very quick. Availability of another of the BlueBrixx play sets. That is the Kids lineup, basically equivalent, I guess, of Lego City. And here we have the City Bus with station now available. The 108137, 646 pieces. 9 minifigures, not too bad. 35 bucks, 5.4 cents a piece. And then 2 sets I never talked about before because I don't know, maybe I missed the announcement, the original one, or BlueBrixx never did one. From time to time this happens. Anyhow, they have now 2 brick built teddy bears available. 107710. 40 bucks for this one here, the Beer Boy, and then we have the Family Groom for, again, 45 bucks. This one has, however, 1,033 pieces, both of them, like I said, 45 bucks. And then another set that I actually never talked about before. This is again from the German Army lineup, aka Bundeswehr, here from BlueBrixx. This is kind of competing, if you will, with Cobi. It's a 1x30 scale vehicle lineup, and here they have this very light tank Wiesel 2, a 107845 in a different version. This is actually not the first Wiesel 2 that they do, but yeah, here you go. It has a 3-in-1 functionality, 685 pieces. BlueBrixx is selling this one for 27 bucks. I think this lineup, I guess it's most and foremost interesting if you're, I don't know, either from Germany or in generally interested in German armies. So BlueBrixx is, I think, one of the very few manufacturers who's consistently pushing out these sets. Cobi usually is, even if they do modern warfare stuff, usually it's in combination or a collaboration with the museum. They actually never, as far as I can tell, I may be wrong here, Cobi is almost never doing anything like, okay, French army, British army, German army, US army, but rather, okay, we have a collaboration with the museum, and this museum happens to have a modern vehicles. For instance, with the tank museum over here from Germany, they have done a ton of collaborations with them, as far as I can tell. Anyhow, let's move on to CaDA, and here's something that I definitely want to build. Actually, as you can see here in ZDB, I already have it on my favorites list. Definitely interested in this one, the Manchester Stadium 66022. I actually don't have yet any information from CaDA itself. This is actually coming from a retail partner of mine from China, but we in this case who is selling this set for 195 bucks. That's not cheap, but it has 4,473 pieces, which is interesting. I mean, I've seen the predecessor, if you will. They have done the Allianz Stadium. I think this is from Juventus Turin. I may be wrong here. The 66021 in the past. And actually, this one also had already, back in the day, 3,500 pieces. But I did see it for real on a toy fair over here in Germany, and it was actually a little bit surprised how small it was. So this is pure architecture, relatively small pieces. What is interesting now about this one is 2 things. First, it has 800 additional pieces, so that's good. But I think there's also a picture in here somewhere. Let me check, like this one, which kind of suggests we are talking about pet printed stuff here, which would be so interesting. However, there's also prints that go, as you can see here on the left side, go across panels, which usually, I don't know, many manufacturers try to avoid, so it could be a sticker. So I don't know. For me, this picture highly suggests that we're talking about printed pieces, which is something that CaDA has not done in the past. However, they very recently did this on their Kicksauber Formula 1 vehicle. So this is what I'm actually highly interested in. Like, what are we talking about here? Is this pet printed? Is this UV direct print or stickers? That's something I'm interested in. But also the set itself looks highly interesting. Yeah, looking forward to this one. And then we are moving on to Cobi. Here we have a couple of, let's basically just sets that are now listed on the Cobi website. And as a result, I have more pictures for you. I will go very briefly through these because especially in North America, I don't have many shop listings yet. But anyhow, the DRBR03 or Deutsche Reichsbahn Baureihe 3, that would be the German original name. So a traditional Middle European steam locomotive from, let's say, 100 years ago. And this is the 6288, the standard edition, where we now have all the pictures by Cobi. So if you're interested in like old European locomotive, this one may be for you. We have a couple of prices. So Cobi itself is listing this one in over here in Europe for $200. We also have first European retailers like BlueBrixx from Austria listing this one in for 185, so not that much cheaper. And because this is still pre-order, I also don't expect any discounts next week on Black Friday. Nevertheless, I guess the most important thing I wanted to talk about is that I do now have all the original Cobi pictures. Same is true for the F-35B Stovall. I don't know how to pronounce that. So this is vertical landing, start and landing, right? I'm not 100% sure what exactly the Stovall acronym is, but this is what it stands for. I don't know. It's by far not the first F-35. We had like a ton of these sets by Cobi. I think this is already the sixth one, something like that. I mean, look at this. There is a ton of Cobi. Yeah, I think this is the fifth one actually that they have done. They have done both A and B variants. I think the most important thing here is that this is now Italian Air Force. So I don't know if you're from Italy or in general you want to have them all. 5895 maybe for you. Again, availability or pre-order options right now only in Europe. But the most important thing is that I have now also all the pictures. So if you're interested in this one, yeah. Not too shabby, but I guess all of these F-35s are almost the same. Then on the Christmas lineup, 2007 or 2007, whatever you may call it, Christmas Eve set by Cobi. Now also we have a couple more original pictures. We have prices. This one is already available in Europe for around $19. In the US, BlueBrixx has this one in listed in their store, but it seems not available anymore or not yet. I can't be sure. But anyhow, if you're into a Cobi Christmas set, this one may be for you. Coming back to military vehicles, the KTO Rosso MAC 2629. So this is actually, again, a 2-in-1 set by means you can have the Polish variant or the Ukraine variant. And we have this one, we have listings both in North America as well as in Europe. And yeah, I think I have to, like I said before, usually they work with the museum. Actually, in this vehicle case, that's not the case, it seems. They're just working with Rosso MAC. For sure, they have a license. And here you go, Polish vehicle, Cobi's from Poland, so it makes a ton of sense. And then we also have more pictures and information now on the Cobi Maserati Levante S 24547, 1x35 car. And yeah, we have a couple of listings, both in the UK as well as the European Union, which unfortunately the UK is not part of anymore, which is very unfortunate. But anyhow, for around 26 quid or 15 euros, I don't know where the huge price difference is coming from. But anyhow, now available over here in Europe, as well as more pictures from Cobi itself. And then we have the Messerschmitt BF109G 5761 by Cobi. Here, unfortunately, no listing so far whatsoever. Same is true for the Sherman, we will talk about in a second. But Cobi has them listed, so we have a few more information, 350 pieces, a minifigure, and yeah, more pictures of the box art and everything. And then we have an enormous Sherman, the M4A2E8W, what a mouthful, Sherman battle tank from Second World War, 3118. And this one actually has 5 minifigures, which is huge. And we also have already a listing in the US. We actually don't have a listing for this one in Europe for whatever reason. But BlueBrixx has this one listed on pre-order for around 71 bucks. Cobi itself is listing this one over here in Europe for around 70 euros. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is an interesting vehicle because first of all, it's 1x35. So that is actually a pretty cool tank, but it has 5 minifigures, which is unheard of as part of a tank package by Cobi. But anyhow, if you're into US or Second World War battle tanks in general, I think this one may be for you. With that, we're moving on to DK, and here DK has 3 what they call Happy Farm sets. First, we have the windmill, but there are also 2 cows included. 6020, you can order this one in China for around 24 bucks, not too shabby, for 560 pieces. Then we have the 6021, the Pixie. I don't know if that is a good translation. It even includes a tractor. I guess this is a typical like a German tractor by means of Fendt. No, I think it's not German company anymore, isn't it? I'm not so sure. Anyhow, I think this is a Fendt tractor, but I'm not really a big fan of this design. It looks weird, the wheel sizes and the form, the building techniques of the tractor. It doesn't really match. But anyhow, it is a small farm set, 533 pieces, again 24 bucks. And then the 6022, the chicken coop, which actually includes a lot of animals. So I think I see already 4 chickens at least. There's even a dog included, and again a tractor with a front loader, 505 pieces. And slightly below 23 bucks. DK also has flowers. First of all, they have the roses. 3026 actually on pre-order still. 249 pieces, 15 bucks in China. Again, by the way, I should mention when I do talk about prices from Chinese retailers, definitely shipping will vary depending on where you live. So this is usually including, or I try to include, its calculation is not always that easy to include pricing into Central Europe. But again, it really depends on the country where you live. And then we have the 3025, the tulips, slightly below 15 bucks, 223 pieces. Then a few updates on Funhole. I think about this set I talked last week, the Steampunk Flying Club 9050. And however, here now I have also the Amazon listing. So Funhole itself is listing this on their site for 120 bucks. But as you can see, Amazon already cheaper. On Amazon US, you can buy this one for 100 bucks, and on Amazon Canada for $140 Canadian. I'm pretty sure we will see something around a Black Friday week next week. I will try to keep you updated on all the discounts coming in, especially Funhole is usually quite interesting. Pantasy, Mould King also from time to time. So many of the Chinese brands. There may be a lot of stuff going on next week. As always, if you want to keep updated, just if you go to merlinsbricks.com or setdb.org, you will see a big fat newsletter button on the right, and here you have a table basically with all the information like how you can stay up to date. So we are on social media, of course, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky. We have RSS feeds, but you can also register an email, for instance, on news in general, and then you will also get all the updates when it comes to interesting discounts, offers, etc. And also we will talk about a few other news in a second as well. So that's the easiest way. But you can also use social media, follow us on Mastodon, Blue Sky, Telegram, stuff like that. Anyhow, moving on to the Funhole Streamers Theater, same situation, 9056. We now have more listings. Actually, I think I also have now a US listing, but yes, I needed to do a browser refresh. So I think I talked about this also 2 weeks ago, I think. And here, however, we also have Amazon listings of the set. Funnel itself is listing this one for $180, but they sell it on Amazon for $150 US or $200 Canadian. Keep in mind, so when you buy this on Amazon, it does say marketplace because it's Funhole directly. So I think this is the main way how Funhole sells these sets in the West. They usually have an Amazon store in Amazon EU, UK, Canada, and US. And I think that's basically it. I think they're in the European Union. They have shop listings in multiple markets. I think in the French Amazon store and in the German for sure. But again, it's also available in the UK usually. But yeah, as always, I try to bring you the links as fast as possible. In general, there's a new development in recent months that usually in my experience now, and you can see this here, because it is not listed in the UK or European Union so far, that it seems to be that Funnel is now faster in North America compared to Europe. This may have to do with Lego being a European country, and as a result, European authorities on looking a lot closer. Customs basically is looking a lot closer on all the Chinese imports, but this is just speculation at this point, why it takes them more time to get this into the European Union, but customs may be generally slower over here, who knows. Anyhow, let's move on to GULY, and here we have another 1x8 Technic vehicle, 1x8. These are enormous cars. This one is actually 33 centimeters in length. That's almost 25 inches. So these things are huge. This one has 3,654 pieces, is remote controlled, and as you can see, based on the picture here, it is actually in a metallic color. My guess is this is supposed to be a Lamborghini, but of course GULY does not have a license. But yeah, it's a lot of Technic pieces, and actually for a pretty good price of around 130 euros. The motorized version is not that much more expensive. You may want to double check this. Again, prices is always a bit complicated to figure out, but as always, I have my affiliate links of all my retail partners here down below on the site, on every SetDB site, that of course is also linked from the podcast show notes. And you can check this out yourself. And again, prices also vary a lot depending on where you live, like I said before. With that, we're moving on to Lego. Here, a quick forward. So Lego, it seems, is now renaming Botanical Collection into Botanicals. So these 4 sets we are now going to talk about, actually, if you look on the box art, it says Botanicals. However, in the past, they used Botanical Collection. For the time being, I will keep the name Botanical Collection because I'm not yet sure what happens to the old sets. Lego has done a lot of rebranding in the past, like Creator Expert, for instance. They also looked in the past and renamed some sets to icons, but not all of them. I'm not really sure how this is going to play out, but just keep in mind, for the time being, I will keep the term Botanical Collection, and I guess I will see then next year when the rebranding starts how exactly this will play out. Anyhow, let's start. And first we have the flower arrangement 10345. My understanding is that this one will release February 1st, while the other 3 flowers we will talk about in a second are January 1st. Anyhow, this is the biggest one, I think, 1,161 pieces, 10345. It's 18 plus, black and red box art, and yeah, it's a ton of flowers in a vase. And yeah, I think they have a couple of interesting building techniques in here, and look rather beautiful. However, my wife is really into flowers, but she told me already years ago, never bring any brick built flowers into my house. So that is why I've actually never built any of these. No idea how good they are. But talking about prices, this is $110 over in Europe. Same is true in the US, 140 Canadian, 95 British pounds. And with that, we're moving on to a smaller one, the Lucky Bamboo 10344. Again, January 1st, like I said, $30 or 40 Canadian, 25 quid. 325 pieces, and yeah, it's a bamboo. I don't know how it is in other regions of the world, but over here, at least in Germany, usually these kind of bamboo thingies you could buy in the past by IKEA very cheaply and then put them on a vase, and then they start. I mean, you basically just get the trunk, if you will, from IKEA for a very short, very small price, and then you put this in a vase with water, and then over time it will look like this thing here. This is all I know about it. I'm not really into flowers. Anyhow, the Lucky Bamboo from the Botanical Series, 325 pieces. Then we have the 10343. This is the Mini Orchid, and this is again same price point, 40 Canadian, 25 quid, 30 euros / US dollars. It's going to start January 1st, like I said, and it's basically an orchid in a vase. So very similar to the bamboo in that regard, and looks quite beautiful. However, I've seen more complex orchid building techniques, but I still believe it looks fine. It's quite nice. And then you have, last but not least, the Pretty Pink Flower Bouquet 10342. This is like the middle ground from a size perspective, 749 pieces. And 60 bucks EU US, and then 80 Canadian and 55 quid over on the island. And yeah, I mean, it's a flower bouquet, so my understanding is there's no vase included. I guess this is the main difference, but also the flowers look slightly smaller. Overall, like I said, it's in the middle. It doesn't have a vase, but it's also from the flower point of view slightly smaller. So in the past, Lego did a ton of these, also as part of the Creator Series, if I recall correctly. So I guess the idea is here, like they've shown on this marketing picture, that you put this in a regular vase instead of real flowers. Anyhow, let's move on to Mould King. Here we have 2 sets that are now available again with Chinese retailers. I don't have a Mould King listing itself. I guess this will follow very soon. These are 2 cranes, mobile cranes. They are electrified. I think they have like 7 or 8 motors included. So a ton of functionality. Design is by Love. 17073 is the yellow version, and then they have with the 74, which is basically the same set. They also have a red version. They have exactly the same piece count, so I guess the difference in the piece color is the only difference. And like I said, they have 8 motors in it, including 2 receivers, which is interesting because there's only 1 remote. So I actually don't know. I've never built a motorized Technic set that big with that many functions. I think the CaDA telehandler is the biggest one I've ever built by means of number of functions. Actually, not such a big set, but this one I think goes beyond that. So quite interesting. It's very long, very big, like 70 centimeters. That's more than 27 inches in length and 17/6.5 in width and 19.5/ almost 8 inches height. So this is not a small set, but like I said, ton of functionality as well. With that, we're moving on to Pantasy. And here they have a very cute little series for the Astro Boy lineup. First, they have, they call it the Fantastic Car series, but actually the first one is an airplane. I don't know. It's 4 sets. All 4 of them cost 20 bucks. They all have like an exclusive minifigure, and these new Pantasy minifigures look very, very nice, first of all, but I'm also really curious or interested in these because Pantasy seems to have an interesting concept. Usually what most manufacturers do is what Lego is doing, by means you have basically always the same minifigure from like 99% of the figures, right? It's a standard Lego minifigure, just with different color scheme, different prints, and then you get like a different hairpiece or helmet or something like that. But it seems Pantasy is going a slightly different direction, especially the head area seems to be always exclusive molds. So they have done one for the Little Prince, and now they have this one here for the Astro Boy, which is interesting. Anyhow, 4 sets, all of them are 20 bucks. First of all, we have the airplane, which looks really beautiful. The color scheme is very nice. Then they have the fire engine, which is so beautiful. Again, with Pantasy, it's not always clear. Are we talking about stickers here or pet printed? Sometimes they use both. They are not exclusive only pet print, but you can assume, I assume there will be some prints in there. Anyhow, 86210 is the fire vehicle, and then you have the UFO, which also looks really cool, and also basically his suit looks so amazing. As you can see, also the minifigure seems to have different prints. So the minifigure head, I mean, the figure itself is different for sure, but also the head seems to have different prints. So this one here in the airplane looks quite happy. This one in the fire vehicle looks quite sad, as well as the astronaut. And then last but not least, you have the one sitting in the vintage car, which even has an open mouth. So I would say, based on what I can see right now, 3 different prints. With that, we are done with set updates. Then a quick news that I published this morning. Again, click on newsletter to subscribe to get updates on general industry news as well. And here we're talking about Bricklink Designer Program Series 6. Which I think is the last one, if I recall correctly. So it remains to be seen how the BDP will move on with this one. Series 6 will start, crowdfunding will start in October next year. So basically, they still have a lineup for the entire next calendar year, 2025. But anyhow, October will be for now, at least the last one. So let's talk about the winners. First of all, we have Off-Road Adventure by King Creations. This is the smallest one and actually should go very well with the other one that King Creations already has in the making. 910041 is a camping adventure from the Bricklink Designer Program. Should go very well together with the Off-Road Adventure. Same idea, I would say, freeform mock. Yeah, out, basically speaking adventure, speaking vacation. And I think this is a very beautiful design. Really like it. It is kind of a feel-good design, right? At least that's what I feel. And then we have the Art Factory by Brickster. Again, not a new name because Brickster has already in the BDP the 910039, the Art of Chocolate. Now the second one, with 2,499 pieces. I mean, technically, this will only become a set if I think 3,000 people back it, but I think in the last couple of rounds, I think all of the designs made this 3,000. So, yeah, long story short, personally, I prefer his previous design because it was like a full building, and this one is more like just a front. But yeah, I think it looks really beautiful, and I guess there's a ton to explore here. Then we have the Gold Mine Expedition by Brick Project. I think this is the largest one with 3,570 pieces, so I guess we are talking about 350 to 400 bucks for this one, right? Again, very beautiful design. Do really like it. However, it does need, I guess, all the signs. And of course, in BDP, that means stickers. But next to that, I think it is quite a nice design. Also, very large building. So if you're in the market for something like this should go very well. For instance, with a new fun hole Western diorama sets. This should go very nice. Wild West sets from by Funhole, but I think also BlueBrixx has done a ton of these in the past. So I don't know. Could be quite nice. And then we have the Outlaw Forest Den by Brickhammer again, 2,452 pieces. And yeah, I mean, this is I think this, of course, is very cool nowadays because there's a ton of options thanks to the medieval market set by Lego. We now also have wolf minifigures again. And so I think this was an easy one. But yeah, I think it is a pretty nice design. So if you're into castles and you don't have enough yet, I mean, thanks to BDP, we have so many castles nowadays that I think, yeah, if you're into castle, I think the Lego lineup has become very strong in recent years, especially thanks to BDP, but of course also with ideas and of course the icons, Lion Knight's Castle. Then we have the Sequoia Tree Trail from Peace on Earth. And yeah, it's, I think, an interesting tree collection. There is a nice hut included as well. Personally, I don't like that much here on the right. Again, you will, yeah, what else can I say? It's on the right. Sorry for all those of you who listen to this only as a podcast format. Please keep in mind, on Spotify, I'm also uploading the video. So if you are listening to this on Spotify, you could, I think, relatively easy, depending on your connection, switch to the video version to see what I'm talking about. And this is here. This tree on the right, because it's only basically blanket regular 2x2 round bricks, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but the two trees in the center have a very interesting building technique. I'm really looking forward to take a look at this one. Looks really cool. I guess I have an idea how the designer did it, but yeah, it looks really amazing. My guess is these are supposed to be redwoods, right? Looks really cool. Also like the hut, and also a ton of minifigures included. Has also a certain vacation vibe. By the way, you just saw this. If you go into on my site and just click on the pictures, you will also get a gallery full screen version, which I think looks a lot cooler than what the Bricklink team is doing on their side. That's actually why I did it. Anyhow, with that, let's come to a quick reading recommendation. We have published a review on the Parisian restaurant by Mork10212. Pretty, very pretty design. Of course, I mean, that designer that has worked here with Mork has done multiple of these buildings in the past. So I think there is a similar design done by CaDA. The designer also has a similar Paris design, if you will, on or had it in the Bricklink designer program in the very early rounds. So I guess these Parisian buildings, I think there's not now a lot of sets to choose from. Of course, if you look at the sticker on top, obviously this set also has a certain reminiscence of a building from a Pixar movie, but I think at the end of the day, this is not what is in the center. It's more about the Parisian architecture, I do believe. And yeah, I think they've done a great job here. If you're interested in this, we're actually trying to publish a lot of reviews on this site as well. So you may want to check it out. With that, we're moving on to MOCs of the week. And here we have The Witch House by House of Bricks and Diorama. Interesting account name. 5,264 pieces are needed to build this witch house, which is a freeform MOC, which I personally really like. Interesting combination of wedge plates as well as a little bit of snot to get the shapes in here, using different slopes in snot technique. There's also one corner which is basically just bricks, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I guess that's fine. But yeah, I think it's a really beautiful design, 360-degree designed, which I think is something that should be mentioned, because unfortunately Lego is not doing it that much anymore, right? Most of the Lego sets are just fronts nowadays and not so many 360 full buildings. But really like this one. A lot of interior, and I think also a mechanism to remove the roof, so you can check out what is on the inside. And then we have something different. It's not like a full MOC. It's basically just an instruction to motorize the 42111 Dodge Charger, but I still want to talk about it because it has a very cool picture that you can actually do even the, what is it called in English? I don't know, the kickstart that Dom is doing in the movie. However, it is done, I think there was a picture somewhere if I recall correctly. No, it's in here. It's basically done like this. I mean, of course, if you know how this works, it will take like forever to push up the car. Nevertheless, I think it's a very cool idea, and really, really like this design and this concept. And then we have by I Brick It Up, a small diorama for Kill Bill Volume 1. And I think, I don't know, it's a small thing. It has only 142 pieces. The MOC is even free of charge. But I really wanted to talk about it or show it to you because, first of all, I'm a big fan of the movie. Can't help it. I was a big fan of the actress, main actress, but also, of course, the movie itself. I mean, I haven't seen it in a very long time, but back in the day, I was a big fan because it has, because of the action, yeah, sure, but also I think there were so many like almost magic moments in this movie. From the atmosphere point of view, I think it was a true masterpiece. I think it was done by Tarantino, right? Anyhow, I think this, for whatever reason, this very, very tiny diorama brings us across very, very well. Yeah, let me know what you think, but I think it's a very cool design. And then we have a John Deere 7R tractor by Sualk. I don't know, 1,199 pieces. I won't talk about this one because, or show you this one because I think it's a brilliant combination of system and technique bricks. So my assumption is it does work, it has functionality, but still, thanks to using a ton of system, it also has very nice shapes, right? It does not look like the typical technical vehicle. It's a combination, right? I mean, if you look at the wheel arcs, which are a combination of technique and system, which is really, really cool to get like every form as nice as possible. And I think that is a very interesting combination that I personally could never do. But I think, yeah, it's really astonishing what the designer managed to do here. Pretty cool design of a John Deere. And then to Fort BlueBrixx, very cool name, Classic Edition Modular Fort by Venistream. And this is, as the name suggests, a highly modular fort. So very different, very similar to Rock Castle by BlueBrixx. However, what I really like about this one is like how sturdy it looks. Like the walls, look like real walls, right? They look like, okay, with this thing we can defend a bunch of ourselves from a bunch of pirates. And Venistream is also selling these extensions and as extra sets with additional gatehouses, additional walls. So if you're in the market and say, okay, I need a big castle, I need to fight the pirates, and I want to throw them all into prison, I don't know, I'm Commodore Norrington or something like that, and I need a big castle for this, this may be for you. Pretty neat building techniques also. I mean, how the entire color scheme of the walls is designed, using these interesting techniques actually, also to get the shapes in place is really, really cool. And so if you're in the market for such a build, or you're currently thinking about a big pirate diorama or castle mock or something like that, I think there's a lot of inspiration in here for sure. $9 for the fort itself. With that we are done. I'm sorry. I hope you liked the show. Depending on where you watch this or listen to this, leave a like, a comment, rate, subscribe, follow. I don't know. This stuff is called different on any platform, but all of it is highly appreciated. I can assure you that. And of course, as always, in case you have built any of the sets that are in our database, and this is more than 21,000 nowadays, or just the sets I talked about this week or last week, please go in and leave a rating, a review, basically, or not a rating, it's not a review, just 1 to 10 stars. As soon as we have a certain amount of ratings, we will publish this on the site as well. I think this will help out the community a lot. Of course, only if you have built it, or even better, if you have information on the sets that is missing in the database. There is a form here, it's called missing or wrong data. You can find it on every site, and then you can, I don't know, weight, minifigures, animals, prints, stickers, all the kind of stuff that I don't have yet in the database. You can provide this here. Also, if I made a mistake or I have wrong data on the database, you can use this form to correct it as well. I will then check your change request, and as soon as I've approved it, it will move into the database. This should really help out the community. With that, thanks for listening. See you next week.